Good morning. So this morning's theme of our practice is lower back and core. So all of this part is all connected, right? So even with the hamstrings, of course. But yeah, I do find that if you can have a strong core, then it's going to help your back. When I started yoga 16 years ago, I would vacuum and I would then have to lay down because my back was so sore. So I have to tell you, a testament to yoga is since I've been practicing, I think I've had back problems 2 times in the last 16 years. So it's really been a godsend for me. Okay, let's come on down to your backs and find that comfortable reclined position. Knees bent. Again, depending on how your back feels, it might feel better to have the knees bent or legs long, maybe with the toes even turned out a bit. And you can kind of wiggle your spine around so that it does feel nice and comfortable. And a good time to bring your attention to your spine and to that natural or primary and secondary curvature of your back. So the parts of your spine where your body are touching the mat, that's your primary curvature. And then the parts of your body that are lifted up off the mat is your secondary curvature. So as you move your arms up and down, above and below your waist, then of course that changes the shape of your spine. So we'll be doing that as well as some twists today. So just take a few breaths here to connect with your breath. Checking in with how you might be feeling this morning. How is your body? How is your emotional state? So do the full internal and external scan. And if you're able to direct your breath to any tight spots, that's also helpful. Take about 3 more full rounds of breath here. And your next breath in. Let's take both those arms up overhead. Walk your legs together and long, and you can point your toes, and we'll come into this good morning stretch where we just lengthen that spine, just reaching with the fingers, reaching with the toes. And you may notice the curvature of your spine maybe shifts a little bit here, where maybe there's a bigger arch in your lower back. And your next breath in, take your right hand onto your left wrist and draw your hands to that top right-hand corner of your mat and walk your heels to the bottom right-hand corner. So just bringing in a little bit of a stretch through that left side of the body, getting a bit into the hip flexors, giving the spine and the back a little stretch to the right here. Next breath in, let's slide our bodies back to center, switch hands, left hand, right wrist, and draw those hands to the top left-hand corner and walk your heels to the bottom left-hand corner. Yes, you understand. Both your heels and your hands should be on the left-hand side of your mat. That's what I'm trying to say. And again, just breathing through that right side of your body. Next breath in, let's slide our bodies again back to center. Bring your arms down to your sides. Bend the knees, soles of the feet to the mat, lift up your legs and place a hand on each kneecap. And again, you can kind of wiggle your spine around here so you can feel the small of your back. You want to feel that you're really pressing into the spine or into that lower lumbar and the 2 or 3 ribs above that lower back. And then we'll do some knee circles here. So draw the thighs in towards your belly. And separate the knees as you keep pressing your back into the mat to do these knee circles. So of course, remember to breathe. And if you're able to kind of synchronize your breath with the movement, that's lovely. Let's do one more here. And then the next time your thighs come in towards your belly, we'll straight away press them away from you and out and around the opposite way. So again, keep pressing your back and those 2 or 3 ribs above into the mat to keep your core engaged for a couple more breaths. Next time your thighs come back into the belly, this time we'll slide our arms down around the shins, squeeze the thighs into the belly, Option to lift up the shoulders, nose to the knees. And maybe one roll back and forth, massage your back here a little bit. And then we'll all lower our shoulders if they're lifted. And we'll take the left leg long, left hand onto that right knee, and that right arm out to the side to make that T shape. And then drawing that knee across your body towards that left hip. And again, depending on how your back feels, you can maybe roll all the way over to the side to lower that knee down to the mat, or just keep that top leg kind of parallel with the ceiling. Gaze to the ceiling or out to those right fingers. And some people might be feeling this more into that top hip. So you might want to just shift your attention maybe to that lower back. How does that feel there? And take a couple more breaths here. Next breath in, let's release that onto our backs. And bring that left knee up to meet the right, wrap the arms around the shins here, and again, option just to roll on your back, just to give it a bit of a massage, or lift up those shoulders, nose to the knees. All right, same thing on the other side. The right leg is going to go long, right hand, left knee, drawing that knee across your body. Left arm goes long, and again, the gaze can be up to the ceiling or out to the fingers to bring in a little bit deeper stretch through that twist. And again, maybe you're feeling this more on your top hip, but if you can bring your attention down to that lower back, and these twists get really into that lower lumbar area. So try to relax, a couple more breaths. And your next breath in, let's release that onto our backs. One more time here, wrapping those arms around the shins, maybe rolling on your spine or lifting up those shoulders. All right, we'll come meet in center and take both our legs long. And again, bring your attention to that lower back and those 2 or 3 ribs above. We're going to do our dead bug here. So this, I always feel like it works my brain more than any other of my body parts. So bring your arms up to reach for the toes. Maybe you can even touch your toes. That's optional, of course. So we just want to get this hamstring stretch with those heels away, toes to the face. And then opposite arm and leg here. So take a breath in. Exhale, lower that left heel and the right arm down to the mat. Keep pressing your back into the mat. Breathe in to lift to that U shape. Exhale, lower that right heel and that left arm. Keep pressing your back into the mat. Keep your core engaged. Breathe in. Out. Breath out, I should say. Left heel, right hand. End your breath. You're inhaling to your U shape. Exhaling, right heel, left arm. Inhaling up. So do 3 more on each side using your own breath and your own counting. Of course, you can use your own breath. And just do this opposite limbs, keeping that core engaged, pressing your back into the mat. When we do these opposite sides as well, this is really great for building bone density. So a little multitasking here. And when you've done your 3 and 3 on your own here, you can bend the knees and bring your feet back down to the mat. And I can't see where everybody's at, but it looks like you're all done. So then you can walk your feet wide to each long edge of your mat. Bring your hands down to the mat and then wiggle your feet forward or back so that longest finger in your hand is touching your heel. So we're going to do 3 rounds of bridge pose, keeping our feet wide and then slowly bringing them in closer and closer to the center point. And you'll maybe find this changes in that lower back with each foot change. So our feet are wide to start. Press into those feet and lift up your hips. We're going to hold it here at the top just for a breath, and then breathe in and out to lower your back. Round number 2, inhale, press into those feet, holding it here at the top. Try to leave your bum kind of soft here as well as you exhale to release. And our third and final round on this particular width as we inhale to lift. Maybe feeling that in your lower back, maybe not. Exhale to release. And then walk your feet in about 1 foot width. Again, take that measurement, longest finger in your hand touching your heel. Press into your feet, lift up your hips. Again, you can maybe even think about pushing those little hip bones up to the ceiling. And exhale, lower your hips to the mat. Inhale, press into the feet and lift. Hold it here again, just pausing at the top. Exhale to release. Third and final round at this width distance, inhaling up. And exhale to release. Walk your feet together one more time so they're about 1 foot distance closer. Take that measurement of that longest finger in your hand touching your heel. Press into your feet, lift up your hips. So you can maybe notice the difference between the feet wide and now at the narrowest point here. Exhale, lower your hips. 2 more times. Breathe in to lift your hips. Again, pausing, holding here at the top. Exhale to release. Third and final round, inhaling to lift. Exhale to release. And then you can lift up your feet one more time here, wrap the arms around the shins, and maybe roll here again from side to side, or make that tight little ball rounding your spine. Alrighty, from here we're going to come up to tabletop, so you can take a couple of spinal rolls if you wish, or just roll over to your side. I always have fun doing that roll. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees under the hips. Nice wide active fingers here. Cat-cow, a really good one for warming up the spine. So we'll inhale, drop that belly, lift the gaze and open your heart, getting into that lower back. Exhale, round the back, chin to your chest. Inhaling for your cow belly. Exhale for your cat, rounding that back. 2 more rounds here as we inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. 4th and final round as we breathe in for cow and exhale for cat. Come back to neutral. We're going to move into a thread the needle. And traditionally we think about thread the needle as a shoulder stretch, which it is, but it's also great for that lower back. So let's start on the right side by lifting up, turning, twisting through that lower belly, and then exhale again, try to get that shoulder halfway across your mat, and then lower the cheek, the jaw. And again, left hand can stay planted or reach forward or tuck it into that right hip crease. So yes, this is a beautiful shoulder stretch, one of my favorites, but bring your attention to your lower back here maybe, into that twist. And maybe you can feel a nice little stretch through that lumbar spine again. Taking about 3 more breaths here. Next breath in. Let's press our left hand into the mat and push ourselves back up to tabletop. Left hand comes up, we're turning, twisting through that lower belly, and exhale to thread our needle. Try to get that shoulder halfway across your mat, lower the cheek, the jaw, and then find what you want to do with that right hand, pushing the shoulder down, but then also bringing your attention to that lower back, and to that twist in the lower belly. Taking about 3 more breaths. And you're Next breath in, let's plant that right hand and push ourselves up to tabletop. From here, we're going to do 3 rounds of bird dog. So we're going to take the right leg long, toes pointing down, and pushing your heel against that imaginary wall behind you, and then lifting up the opposite arm here. So again, we're lifting up through that belly and building strength in our core, maybe even feeling that in your lower back. Take another breath in. Exhale, plant the hand and the knee, opposite leg, so left leg, press that heel against your imaginary wall, lift up that right arm, lift up through that belly, try to keep that nice long spine here as well. Take another breath in, exhale, hand and knee to the mat. So 2 more times each side, right leg, left arm. Just taking a couple of breaths here as we lift up through that belly. Breathing in and out, hand and knee to the mat. Left leg, right arm. Again, get that sensation of lifting up. Use your back strength to lift your hip. Breathe in and out, hand and knee to the mat. Last round, right leg, left arm. Again, get that sensation of lifting up through your belly button, breathing in, and out, hand and knee to the mat. Last round, left leg, right arm. Nice long spine here. 1 more breath in, exhale to release. Let's take that right leg long 1 more time. Lower the toes down to the mat. Pivot on that left knee so the toes come off the mat. Press into the left hand and come into this side plank. So this is another great one for building strength in our core, also our back. So you can leave, of course, the long leg on the mat, or build more strength in your hips and maybe get more into the back with lifting that leg up. So yogi's option as to how that feels in your body. Couple more breaths. Next breath in, let's release that and bring that hand back down to the mat, coming back into our tabletop. Left leg goes long. Lowering the toes down to the mat, pivoting in on the right toes so they come off the mat. Press into the right hand and turn into your side plank here. So again, long leg can be lifted or stay planted on the mat. And we're trying to kind of lift up through this side body, pulling that whole side body up to your ceiling. Next breath in. We'll exhale to release that and come again back into our tabletop. From here, we're going to do a forearm plank. So come on down to your forearms. Step both those legs long behind you. You can bring your toes together so your toe mounds actually touch, and then get that sensation of drawing your elbows back to your knees. If this becomes too much for your back, then you're going to lower your knees. Take another breath in and exhale, lower your belly, and you can come onto the tops of your feet for this Sphinx pose. So depending on how your back feels, those elbows can stay underneath the shoulders, or you're sliding them forward to take some of that curvature out of your spine, or you're lowering your forehead all the way down to the mat. We're going to do 2 rounds of this. So your next breath in, if you don't already have your elbows underneath your shoulders, slide them back under your shoulders, tuck those toes and lift up your belly. Again, those big toe mounds can touch. Squeeze up through that center line so you can squeeze your thighs together and get that sensation of drawing your elbows back to your toes. Breathing in and out to lower that belly. Come onto the tops of your feet and modify by sliding those elbows forward if you need to change some of that curvature of your spine. From here, we're going to take a child's pose. So tuck those toes and take those sit bones back to your heels, folding forward, maybe supporting your forehead with some stacked fists, toes or knees together or separated, and breathing through the backside of your heart. You can also grab your block here if you wish to support your hips, if that helps with any kind of strain you might be feeling on your lower back. Long breaths in and out. Let's take about 3 more full rounds of breath here. And your next breath in, let's come out of our child's pose. Come back into your tabletop and we'll make our way up into down dog. So walk those hands forward and wide. Tuck those toes and lift your hips. Drawing that chest back towards your thighs. Lifting up those hips to make that sharp V shape. Lifting up through your core, your belly button. Walking those heels, pushing those hands away from you to engage your shoulders. And your next breath in, let's inhale to the tippy toes. Exhale, big deep bend to the knees, look forward, and walk or step your feet, top of your mat for your forward fold. We'll just take a couple of breaths here with that gaze back between the legs. Bringing the crown of the head down to the mat. And then we're going to bend into the knees, arms out to the sides, engage the core, and come all the way up to standing. Palms touch overhead. We're going to take an optional back bend at the top, just pushing those thighs forward. Inhale to neutral. Exhale, side bend to your right, pressing into that left foot. Inhale to center. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale to center, separate your hands, and we'll come into a twist here to the right side. Arms are about shoulder height. Inhale to center, palms touch. Exhale, not a side bend, a twist to the left. Inhale to center, and we'll repeat that, starting with our optional back bend here, pushing those thighs only forward. Inhale to center, exhale, side bend to your right. Inhale, center, exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, center, exhale, twist to your right. Inhale, center, exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, center, exhale, forward fold. Bend into those knees. Inhaling for that half lift. Exhaling to fold, plant those hands, step back with the right foot, and lower that knee to the mat. Inhale into your cactus arms. Maybe lift your gaze to come into a little baby back bend. Again, depends on how that feels. Breathe in and out, forearms touch at your heart center. Inhale, peel open those arms. Again, option for that back bend. Exhale, hands or forearms at your heart center. Third and final round here as we breathe in to open that heart. Exhale, forearms touch. Then bring your hands to your heart center. Elbows are lined. Breathe in and out for this twist. So that lower back, that right elbow to the left knee. And yogi's option, if you want to leave that back knee down or tuck the toes to lift that back knee. Whatever you're choosing to do, just keep that spine nice and long, lengthening, reaching with that imaginary string on the crown of your head. Breathing through that twist. Directing your love to that lower back. Breathe in. And out to come back to center. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and we'll step back for a down dog. Walking those heels here again, couple of breaths as you lift up through your belly button, Drawing that chest back to the thighs. Inhale, tippy toes. Exhale, big deep bend. Look forward. Walk your feet to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Bend into the knees. Reverse swan dive up to standing, engaging that core. Optional back bend here as we keep moving. Exhaling to hinge and fold. Breathe in for that half lift. Breathe out to plant those hands and step back with that left foot, lowering the knee, lifting the chest, and coming into your cactus arms. Inhale for that optional back bend. Exhale, forearms touch at your heart center. Inhaling to peel open those arms. Exhale, forearms touch. Third and final round here as we breathe in and out. Palms press at your heart center. Inhale. Exhale here for this twist through that lower belly, through that lower back. Back knee can stay on the mat, or we lift that back knee, build more strength in our hips as we multitask here. Again, it might depend on how your back feels. Couple more breaths here, keeping that spine nice and long. Next breath in. Let's exhale back to center. Lift that back knee up and step back for your down dog. Just taking a couple of breaths here, and then we're going to go through an optional flow to kind of reset. So if this is part of your practice, we'll inhale forward into plank. Again, if it's too much for your back, you're lowering your knees. We're just going to hold this for our breath as we get those shoulders over the wrists. Next breath in. Exhale, lower those knees. Untuck the toes, hug those elbows, and lower your chest. Leave your hands underneath your shoulders. Walk those thighs together. We're going to do 3 little baby cobras here. So press into your hands, use your back muscles, leave the elbows bent, and just lift your chest for number 1. And exhale to lower. Inhale, round number 2. Use those back muscles to lift your heart. And exhale to lower. Squeeze and lift. Round number 3. Exhaling to lower. Tuck those toes. Press yourself up onto your knees. And lift those hips. Final round of a down dog for the practice. Walk those heels. Inhale to the tippy toes. Exhale, big deep bend to the knees. Look forward. Walk or step your feet. Top of the mat for your forward fold. Inhaling for that half lift. Exhaling to fold. Bend into those knees, engage those core muscles, reverse swan dive to standing. Option for that back bend at the top. Inhale to neutral. Press those palms together as we finish our sequence here, lowering the arms or hands down to our heart center. Schwiggle, schwiggle, schwiggle. Costume adjustment. Okay, warrior 1 to a pyramid. So we'll meet feet hip distance apart, short edge of your mat or facing, and just meeting here. Pausing, lifting up those toes, bringing them back down, shoulders down and away. Checking in, how are we feeling? How are our hips and core feeling? Are they feeling a bit stretched? Just observe and notice how your body is. And then we'll step our feet onto our railroad tracks. And back with that right foot. So again, when you step back, try to still step wide and not in. And use your core and your back muscles here to try to draw your feet together so that that back hip turns in a little bit more square to that short edge of your mat. Front knee, of course, is bent and over that front ankle. Arms are up overhead. With that, again, that option for that baby back bend. Use your core strength to maybe lift your gaze. Breathe in and out to straighten that front knee. I'm going to offer a flat back today so that you can really bring your attention to that belly button and think about lifting it up to keep that core engaged, and then maybe feeling that as well into your lower back. Take a breath in. Exhale, bend into that knee and lift those arms up. Again, option for that back bend depending on how that feels in your body, or you're just looking straight forward with a neutral spine. Breathe in and out for your pyramid with that flat back again, lifting up through that belly button, maybe feeling that in your lower back. Nice long neck. Third and final round here as we inhale. Exhale, make your way back into your warrior one. Maybe lift the gaze or find that neutral spine. Breathe in and out to straighten that front knee. Long flat back like you're running across the finish line and lifting up through that belly. Next breath in. Let's exhale, bend into that front knee, arms to our sides, power through the feet. Use your strength to step forward for your schwiggle. Same thing left side. We'll start first with our feet hip distance apart, finding our foundation, checking in on our breath. And then when you're ready, walking your feet onto those railroad tracks and back with that left foot. Starting here by getting that sensation of drawing our feet together so that we're squaring up those hips a little bit, just getting that slight twist maybe. You can feel that in that lower belly or that lower back. Arms come up overhead. Always that option to challenge your practice with that back bend. Breathing in and out for that long flat back for your pyramid pose, lifting up through that belly. Nice long neck, running across the finish line. Breathing in and out, bending into that knee, arms come up overhead. Next breath in, long breath out for pyramid. And our third and final round as we inhale. Exhale, bend into the knee, arms come up overhead. Breathing in and out for our final round of pyramid, lifting up and reaching that crown of the head. Next breath in. Come to that neutral spine, arms to your sides. Use your strength to step forward and do your little schwiggle. Okay, let's go head on back down to the mat for a child's pose. So, depending on how you're feeling, maybe you want to have those knees separated, or maybe even want to just try a different version of child's poses. This is our second round. Whatever you're choosing. Again, trying to get those sit bones to the heels. Nice long breath through the back side of your heart. Maybe directing your attention to that small of your back. Sending it some love. About 4 more full rounds of breath. And your next breath in, let's release and slide our bodies on down to the mat, coming onto our bellies, onto the tops of our toes or feet. And you can make a little pillow with your stacked arms underneath your forehead. So 2 rounds here with our arms above the waist and 2 rounds with our arms below the waist. So we're gonna work the thoracic spine here with our arms above. So for me, I like to have cactus arms here again, but you can certainly take your arms long and overhead, and then walk your thighs together, press into the tops of the feet, use your back muscles here to lift your heart and your arms, and look straight down at that mat to keep your neck nice and happy. Pressing into that belly button, breathing in and out to lower. Rolling from side to side here to give your back a little bit of love. And then round number 2, come back into your arm position, cactus or straight overhead. Walk those thighs together, press into the tops of the feet, use the strength of your back muscles to lift up your heart and your arms, and maybe also add on to your legs here. So even though this is building strength in the thoracic spine, that's up by our shoulders, you're probably feeling this in your lower back. Breathe in and out to release, make your pillow. And again, always that option to kind of roll from side to side just to loosen that up. Next 2 rounds, arms down at our sides, palms facing down. Walk those thighs together, press into the tops of the feet. Use your back muscles again to lift your heart and your arms. And pressing into that lower belly. Maybe again feeling that in your lower back. Breathe in and out to release, making your little pillow. And rolling from side to side. Our 4th and final round. Arms at the sides, look straight down, squeeze those thighs, press into the feet, lift up your heart, your arms, and maybe also your legs. Another breath in and out to release. Taking another little roll on your belly. And one more child's pose, doing a real quick counter pose to those back bends. So sit bones to the heels. Again, yogi's option, knees together or separated. Sending some love and breath to that lower back. And your next breath in, let's come on out of our child's pose. And you can swing your legs around to come onto your butt. And we're quickly running out of time here. So we're going to grab our block. A very traditional core building posture of, not bridge, what's it called? Boat. So grabbing your block, knees are bent, feet are on the floor, and sliding that block between our thighs. So again, building core strength really is a lot of this squeezing up that center line. So that's basically what the block does. It reminds us to do that. So again, a reminder with boat, when we collapse and allow our shoulders to roll forward, we're not engaging those core muscles as much. So shoulders back, the heart is open. We're squeezing and lifting those legs, trying to get them parallel to the mat. If this is too hard on your back, then of course grab a strap and loop that strap over your arches, strap end in each hand. Couple more breaths here. So if you're shaking, that's all very normal. Breathe in and out to release. You can take that block out and bounce your knees here for a little bit. I am going to grab my strap for the next round, just to show you how you can use that strap to maybe get a little bit deeper or a little bit into a more of an advanced posture. So I'm going to do both one more time here, but this time I'm going to keep my legs long with the help of the strap. So again, bring those shoulders back, down, your heart is open, you're squeezing that block, lifting your legs up. Maybe you just want to try that strap with your knees bent. Or try taking your legs long this time, leaving that heart open. Use your strap as your new best friend. Balancing here on your sit bones. Another breath in and exhale to release. Set the block and the strap aside and take a couple of little bounces here on your legs. Okay, bring your block with you and we'll come on down to our mats on our backs. We're going to make our way into a supported bridge. So, knees are bent, soles of the feet on the mat, and taking that measurement again of that longest finger in your hand, touching your heel. In this version, of course, our feet are closer together. They're about hip distance apart. And we're going to press into our feet, lift up our hips, and slide that block in underneath your sacrum. So it should feel nice and comfy. So then we walk our shoulders underneath us, opening up the heart and pressing the back of the head into the mat. So if you want to build more strength in your back and your core, then you can certainly do this unsupported. But supported is really quite nice and therapeutic. We've been doing a bit of stretching through that lower back and core, so you may find a supported version just helps maybe calm the mind a little bit and just send some love to that area of our body that we've been working pretty hard. So we'll take about 5 more full rounds of breath here. So this, of course, is a back bend as well as an inversion. So try to, if you are supported, then just try to relax through those hips and just allow your lower back to kind of drape over that block. I know I've been talking. 2 more breaths, let's take. And your next breath in. Let's press into the feet, slide that block out, and lower your sacrum on down to the mat. So that sacrum might feel a little bulgy. So again, we'll lift up the feet, wrap the arms around the shins, and then maybe just roll here a bit from side to side. Again, just sending a little bit of love to our backs. Okay, another back bend we're going to do next is our fish pose. So soles of the feet back down to the mat, press into the feet, lift up the hips and slide both the arms in underneath you. Lower your body back down onto your forearms so you'll feel the weight of your body on the forearms. Walk your fingers wide here, so only your thumbs are touching. So you got this nice wide base. Both legs go long and you're pointing the toes. So you're getting the sensation of drawing your heels back to the hips. So this back bend part comes in next, where we press into the forearms, lift up our heart, open up your throat, and bring the crown of your head as much as possible down to the mat below you. Keep pulling those heels back towards your hips. Keep pressing into your forearms. And feel that stretch in this back bend through that lower back. Maybe you feel it a bit through your core. About 3 more breaths here. And your next breath in, let's release the back of the head to the mat, lowering the shoulders, bend the knees, soles of the feet to the mat, lift up to remove your arms. And again, that sacrum might feel a little bulgy, so arms around the shins here again, and maybe rolling from side to side. All right, we're going to do a core one next with our reclined eagle. So soles of the feet back to the mat, and then lift up the feet so you've got this L shape. Right leg crosses over top of the left, so your heels, or not your heels, your knees are crossed. So when we do this eagle pose standing, I always have a block that I can support my right foot on, so you can leave that right foot out to the side, or maybe try to tuck it behind that left shin, or left calf, I should say. So the knees are over your hips here, and then we're going to cross our arms overhead, right arm underneath left, bending at the elbows, and or maybe just bringing your arms, give yourself a bear hug. We're going to lift up these elbows so they're more in line with the chin. So knees over the hips, elbows over the chin. As you inhale, we're going to try to separate those knees away from the elbows. So you're lengthening your spine here a bit. And on the exhale, we'll come into a bit of a crunch, bringing your elbows towards your knees. 3 of these in total. So inhale, separate those knees from the elbows, lengthening the spine. Exhaling here for your crunch. 3rd and final round, lengthening the arms, lengthening the legs. Exhaling here for your crunch. Unwind the arms, unwind the legs. Bring the feet back down to the mat. Step them wide, and we'll do a windshield wiper between sides. So breathe in and out as you take both those knees to the right. Inhale to center and exhale those knees to the left. Inhale back to center, lift those legs up for that L shape. Step that left leg over top of the right. And again, you can just leave that left foot out to the side, or maybe try to tuck it behind that right calf muscle. Both arms up overhead, left arm underneath right. Bend the elbows or bear hug, and then lift those elbows up more in line with the chin. And those knees over the hips. You know where we're going this time, so inhale, separate those knees from the elbows to lengthen the spine. Exhale here for your crunch. Maybe the elbows can touch the knees. Inhaling to separate, keep trying to press your back into the mat here as well. Exhaling for your crunch. 3rd and final round here. Just think of this as building strength in your core. Try not to grunt. And exhale here for our crunch. Unwind your arms, unwind your legs. Feet come to the mat. One more windshield wiper move here as we inhale. Exhale those knees to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale those knees to the left. Inhale back to center. Step your feet together. Lift up those legs here one more time. And we'll come into just some heel drops here before we come into our final sequence of our recline twist. So you can, again, if you wish, grab a block to have between your knees or not. It's yogi's option. And bring your attention to your lower back here again, that sacrum, and those 2 or 3 ribs below. Arms down at your sides. We'll breathe in and out. Keep those knees bent and just lower those heels down to the mat. So keep pressing your back into the mat to engage the core. Inhale back up to this L shape and squeeze, press your back and lower those heels down for number 2. Inhaling up for number 3 here. Exhale, press your back into the mat, engage that core to lower those heels for 3. Inhaling up, press and squeeze down for number 4. Inhaling up, squeeze and press your back in for number 5. Lift those legs up one more time, arms around the shins, and give your abs a little bit of relief here maybe, rolling from side to side or lifting up those shoulders. All right, our final sequence of our recline twist. So take those knees out to the right side, peeling open that left shoulder, turning the gaze, or maybe closing the eyes. And again, often we think about this, I know for myself anyhow, I think about my top hip. But again, because of the core and lower back, maybe you want to focus more on how a twist feels through that area of your body. Of course, still adjusting that top leg if you need to, find some comfort in that hip. Being mindful of that belly twist. About 5 more full rounds of breath here. Next breath in, let's release this onto our backs. Yogi's choice if you'd like to take a happy baby between sides, because that's a nice little back opener as well, or again, take the arms around the shins. Just take a couple of breaths here between sides. And then we'll take those knees out to the left side into that fetal position, turning and opening up that right shoulder. Turning the gaze, closing the eyes, and bringing the attention to our lower back and the strength that these twists build into our core. 5 more full rounds of breath. And your next breath in, let's release this again onto our backs. Yogi's choice again as to what final movement you'd like to do here. We didn't have time for happy baby, so that's a really nice one I find to massage that lower back. Or any other movement, of course, to complete your practice. Just take a couple more breaths there. And then start making your way into your final posture of the practice. Recline, seated, legs up the wall, whatever feels comfortable in your back, in your body. Shoulders down and away from the ears. Maybe bringing your hands onto your body to feel that breath. And again, just checking in here, noticing if anything has shifted for you during the practice over the last nearly 1 hour. Try to direct your breath to any spots that maybe still feel like they need a bit of more love. And trying to stay here this important time to absorb the benefits of your practice, staying here in this present moment. Connecting to our breath. And I'll leave you in silence, and I'll let you know when our time is up. You can start to bring a little movement back into your bodies, wiggling fingers and toes. Or maybe that good morning stretch that we started with. And we'll end our practice with 3 shared breaths. Taking a big inhale through your nose, parting your lips with a long breath out through your mouth. Another big inhale through your nose, long breath out through your mouth. And our last big breath in together with a long sigh, releasing your practice. And then just breathing normally here, in and out through your nose. Rolling over to your right side to take a couple more breaths there. And when you're ready to move, rolling on up to seated. Eyes closed, gaze soft. Resting your arms on your legs or palms to your heart center. And we'll bow our heads over our hearts, symbolically releasing the thoughts of our minds into the feelings of our hearts. Thank you for coming and sharing your practice. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Namaste.